So the next stage in this constructing the block is to lay out the pieces roughly as you're going to be putting them together. So you've got your central square in the middle. This is section A, B, C and D. And we're going to start off by stitching the central block to section A. So let me just move those ones out the road. And what we want to do is to flip that across to there. It's going to match from this end, and you're going to sew. I don't know if you can see that, but I've marked, put a little mark there where 1 inch from the end of this central block. So you're going to sew up to that point. So I'm just going to pin these bits together. I'll pin from the bottom here. And as you would see in the instructions, this block should just fractionally cover, well, it should cover both these two pieces and come just a little way up above onto the third section there. And that's all we need to know. But for now, we are only going to stitch from this tiny little mark that I've made here. So from here down to here, and we leave this bit free. So, as you can see, we've stitched from here to here, and there's just 1 inch free at the top here, and we're just going to leave that free for now. So we're ready to move on to attaching the next part. We've got this section here attached to the central block with a little bit left open here. So the next one we're going to attach is this one, which is B. And we're just going to flip that over to there. And I think it's a good idea at this stage to make sure that this seam here, where the rectangles are, that seam actually matches up, and then you're going to have a nice line going down there. So again, pinning into the seam space there is a good way to keep them together. But also because your seams will be going different ways, it should keep them together as well. Right, here we go. So because you're going to have a line just coming down here, so it's good to have that matched up. Now for the rest of it, we're just going to pin across here, and we want that to match up nicely. Yep. So I'm going to pin from the other end so that we don't have any bits sticking out, and I'll just ease that in all the way across there, and just putting a few pins to hold everything together. Okay, just take that to the machine and do a 1/4 inch seam across. So we've now attached this seam, and we've pressed everything towards the central square from both sides, and the next one we're going to attach is this one. So let's do that. Let's get that one pinned, and it's just going to go on the same way, exactly the same way that you put on the last one. Just going to match up the ends and then make it fit in the middle. And just be careful you don't leave out these little pieces here. That would be a tragedy if they got missed out of the stitching. So just make sure that they are included in the seam. Let's get that one nicely lined up there. There we go. Well, that should be enough in it to hold it. And I'm just going to take that back to the machine and stitch down this line. So we're now ready to put the final piece in place. And this is going to go along here, just like we've done with all the other pieces. And we're just going to pin that along there and stitch along that line. So it's now easy to see why it was important to leave that inch piece free at the beginning there, so that you can actually access this part to sew the seam there. So now we've sewn the final piece into place here, and you can see how important it is that we left that 1 inch gap there so that you could complete this seam right up to the edge here. And that's really important that you leave that. So the final piece to do is just to flip this over, and you're going to finish pinning this seam along here, and you're going to just complete that piece right up to there. And there we have it, the final block completed with all the components stitched in. I hope you'll enjoy making this, and I'm looking forward to seeing your photographs of them.